Have you ever found a Kennedy half-dollar in your change and wondered if it could be worth more than 50 cents? Sometimes the most ordinary-looking coins can have fascinating stories, and the 1984 D half-dollar is one of them. It may not be as famous as some rare era coins or silver issues, but this Denver-struck coin is part of the history of America's largest circulating coin. Today, we're going to break down the design, the history, the value, and how to sell a 1984 D half-dollar if you happen to own one. Welcome back to the channel, where we uncover the stories behind us coins and learn which ones are just pocket change and which ones might be hidden treasures. If you're new here, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and tap the bell icon so you don't miss future coin deep dives. Now, let's talk about the 1984 D Kennedy half-dollar. The Kennedy half-dollar was first introduced in 1964, created as a tribute to President John F. Kennedy after his assassination in 1963. By the time we get to 1984, the design had already been in circulation for 20 years, and it remained a staple of American coinage even though most people rarely saw half-dollars in everyday transactions. The Obverse, designed by Gilroy Roberts, features a left-facing bust of President Kennedy. It shows his hair in fine detail, his strong jawline, and the inscriptions Liberty around the top, with "In God We Trust" across the lower portion and the date 1984 at the bottom. To the left of Kennedy's neck is the mint mark D, showing it was produced at the Denver Mint. On the reverse, designed by Frank Gasparro, is the presidential coat of arms. At the center is a heraldic eagle with wings spread wide, clutching an olive branch in its right talon and a bundle of arrows in its left, symbolizing peace and strength. A shield rests on the eagle's chest, and above its head is a ring of rays and a circle of stars. Surrounding the design are the inscriptions United States of America and half-dollar. The reverse makes the coin feel presidential, patriotic, and iconic all at once. By 1984, half-dollars were no longer circulating widely. Banks had limited demand, stores rarely used them, and most people simply didn't carry them. The coin was still produced in the tens of millions, but most ended up stored in rolls, bags, or distributed to casinos and collectors rather than in cash registers. The Denver Mint struck around 26 million half-dollars in 1984, a solid number, but relatively low compared to quarters or dimes from that year. Like all Kennedy half-dollars made after 1971, the 1984 D was composed of a copper-nickel clad alloy, 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. It weighs 11.34 grams and measures 30.6 millimeters across, making it the largest circulating coin of the time. The question most people ask is, how much is it worth? In circulated condition coins that show where from being used in pocket change, the 1984 D half-dollar is generally worth only its face value of 50 cents. They're fairly common, and most examples won't bring more than $1. Uncirculated coins, however, are more desirable. A 1984 D half-dollar with bright original mint luster, sharp details, and no scratches or wear can be worth around $2 to $5 to collectors, but the real value is in higher grade examples. If you send one to a grading service like PCGs or NGC and it comes back in mint state 65 or higher, it could fetch anywhere from $20 to $50. Coins graded MS66 or MS67 are much scarcer, and those can sell for $100 or more depending on demand. In rare cases, an MS68 example has brought several $100s at auction. Proof coins were also struck in 1984, but they were made at the San Francisco Mint and carry an S Mint, not a D. The Denver Mint coins were regular business strikes, but because half-dollars weren't heavily circulated, many of them survived in decent condition. Arrow coins are another area to watch for. The 1984 D half-dollar is known to have some interesting errors, like off-center strikes, clipped planchettes, and die cracks. A coin with a clear error can be worth far more than a regular example. For instance, a dramatic off-center strike could sell for $50 to $200 depending on how visible it is, while a more minor die crack might bring $10 to $20. Double die errors are rare but very collectible, so it's always a good idea to check the lettering, the date, and the mint mark carefully with a magnifying glass. So, what should you do if you have a 1984 D half-dollar? First, check the condition. If it's worn and circulated, it's probably only worth 50 cents. But you can still hold on to it as a piece of American coinage history. If it's uncirculated or has that frosty mint shine, it could be worth more, so set it aside. And if you think you've spotted an error, that's when things get interesting. Selling a 1984 D half-dollar can be simple. For circulated examples, you can spend them or sell them in bulk to coin shops, though they'll usually pay face value unless you have rolls or bags. For uncirculated or high-grade coins, local coin dealers, coin shows, and online platforms like eBay are good options. eBay, in particular, gives you access to a huge audience of collectors. If you're selling online, take clear photos of both sides of the coin and include close-ups of the date and mint mark. for coins you think might grade MS65 or higher. Or for those with unusual errors, sending them to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC can be worthwhile. Encapsulation protects the coin, guarantees its authenticity, and often increases its resale value. Just remember that grading fees add up, so it's best for coins already worth more than $50 raw. The 1984 half dollar may not be the rarest coin in the Kennedy series, but it represents a fascinating era. By the 1980s, half dollars were becoming more of a collector's item than a circulating coin. They were still produced by the millions, yet the average American rarely saw them in daily life. In a way, the 1984 half dollar is a symbol of how U.S. coinage evolved, holding on to tradition even as the coin itself faded from circulation. In conclusion, most 1984 half dollars are worth 50 cents, but uncirculated examples can bring a few dollars, and Hygrid or era coins can sell for much more. If you've got one, it's always worth taking a closer look. You never know when a seemingly ordinary coin might turn out to be something special. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1984 half dollar, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends who love coin collecting. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy collecting.